Hey guys, coldbrew here. Welcome back to another raid video. I'll go over gear and gear decisions you need to be making in 2025. We have 6 years of raid and gear has definitely changed since I've started playing. Since I've started playing, we only had dungeons and campaign where you could go in there and farm. But since then, we have gear ascensions, new gear that is coming from other sources, other than just straight up dungeon farming. And of course, now with the updated market, things have changed a ton more. Honestly, guys, the updated market has given us like the choice now where it really becomes an option. When you see an item in the market, you got to contemplate, do I have the silver to go for this? Or should I go for this? Does this look like an expensive buy? I'll give you guys an example since the market has really shown me one item here that I could choose to buy if I was tempted to do so. And it's this 6-star helmet right here. So this is not going to be the theme of the video, just the market overlook, but we'll cover this for the start. Because if you look at the market, if you're somebody who's under the 50, now I'm going to say 20 million silver mark, this might seem extremely expensive to you. That is what, a quarter of what you have right now in terms of silver. And you see this and you say, this is not worth it. I'd rather just use my energy and hope for the best to get this item. So have a look at this item. So this is a speed 6-star helmet with some substats here. So why is this a good purchase or a potentially good purchase? Well, honestly, guys, this is a potentially good purchase just for the speed and crit rate bonuses here for your champions out there. Any speed 6-star legendary item for the speed set that you see is honestly a good purchase. This specifically, this for me is not an S tier, so it's not the top of the speed sets. If I see this item, I'm not really gonna say, yeah, I got a good item for the speed set, because for your champions, you're looking to get speed, yeah, but the speed that you'll give them will not you will not be looking for stats such as crit rate and crit damage as a primary as a primary target. I mean, so for a support, you're looking for accuracy, you're looking for resistance, HP%, defense percent primarily. For your damage dealers, you wouldn't be looking for these stats, but this sort of item will give you some potentially good stats for your damage dealer as a 2-piece set that you can have alongside your 4-piece set. So potentially giving them that extra speed plus the stat bonuses that you're looking for, such as crit rate and crit damage. And then eventually you might need to go from that sort of gearing into, let's say, a cruel set plus savage. So this is basically a set that you'll be looking for transitioning from mid game into the later parts of the game, not even end game, because end game stats, you wouldn't be looking for this sort of set for your damage dealers, and your supports would really be missing out from one piece of gear having basically only speed. So unless this rolled 4 times on speed, you would have basically dead stats for your support. That's how you need to see it. But I'll give you guys an example. I'll purchase this. So almost 5 million silver. For me, this is worth it because this is thousands of runs and I can potentially get a quad roll on speed. Okay, I don't need the other stats. I'm just buying it because some of my champions do use the speed set. Not my supports, they wouldn't use the speed set with crit rate, as I explained. In other places here where you will find gear, especially the savage set, you might think it's expensive, but that is hundreds of runs that you can potentially run and not get these sort of items. But this one, for example, flash stats on the top, this one, attack percent, crit rate, they almost immediately get disqualified. So if you see the expensive tag, Plarium knows what they're doing with the pricing and they know how to make these things seem worthwhile to you, and usually they will be. So if you see like a huge price tag, check on it, check on the set that you have, and it might be worth it. So I'll give you guys another example here. Just gonna refresh a couple of times. I want to see, oh nice, I want to see even this one. This is a stun set. The stun set is not that easily acquired, and it's very unique in what it does. Honestly, I will say the stun set is one of the few OG sets that still has heavy value because there's no other set currently in the game that can do what this does. So the stun set here could potentially be a good purchase for somebody who's trying to transition actually into mid game. So it's a 5-star piece. So that is what I consider mid game, the 5-star pieces, because you'll be needing that stun set, especially for faction wars and progressing through your faction wars. So I would have purchased that if I was way earlier in my you know, gaming for Raid Shadow Legends. And then other sets such as the Curse set here, these are also worthwhile even for the 5-star piece, because the Provoke set, basically what you're looking for is the ability to apply the Provoke. But again, it's situational when it's better or not. So here, Savage, you guys get the idea. The expense here, the price tag, the better the stats are going to be, and the quality of the piece of gear that you'll see. So always consider that, but also consider the total amount of silver that you're going to have, because of fusions and the requirement to have about 15 to 20 million silver per gear enhancement event that might pop up, and you need to finish your fusion. Okay, and I'll give you guys a sneak peek on what the rolls are going to be for this one. So this is, again, 5 million plus whatever it needs to roll. So usually how I roll my items, I'll do level 8, see if it rolls. It rolled on speed and crit rate. This is okay, but for me personally, this is not okay. But let's just take it to 12. It already is a very bad roll. I will sell this item because for me, for my account, this is not useful. The spreading of the stats is just not useful. Best case scenario rolls either crit rate on speed. I will use this in 0 of my champions, literally 0 of my champions, because the majority of the gear that I'm keeping is already at double roll on speed, okay, for the speed set. So this best case scenario rolls on 16, but let me just show you on how bad this can be. So it's 6 million, and then it rolled as the worst it could have been, which is quads, you know, variable upgrades there. So not even the sets that I was looking for. So Raid has progressed into the point where right now the sets that you want to be farming aren't even the dungeon sets. The dungeon sets have now basically become, I'll just call it out, Ice Golem. You're basically looking for the Curse set as an end game player, and honestly, after you have a couple of these, you basically lose the will to farm the Ice Golem. Reflex has basically been replaced by the new sets, one of the live arena sets, and also by the Merciless set because of attacking champions. Well, although the Reflex has its own uses, it still have the potential of the Merciless because of the ability to equip it as a 4-piece set using accessories. And then the Provoke set is okay, but I wouldn't really call it anything about it. And then we have like all of these dead sets on all the way here. So basically, Curse set is worthwhile to get for a couple of your champions, especially for Hydra. Then we're looking at Spider, which again, Spider is cool and all, but the problem is right now it's so easy to get accessories. You can get them from the clan shop, you can get them from Hydra, you can get them from the live arenas now, and you can also pick up on different accessories through the Cursed City, and those are Merciless pieces as well, plus CVC. So basically, once you reach the point where you're comfortably farming Spider, Spider becomes irrelevant. It's basically a dead dungeon, honestly, because of how easy it is to acquire new accessories which have a set bonus of a 1, 2, or 3-piece set bonus. And also with the event dungeon, you can acquire those instead, which gives you speed and accuracy, which are needed for quite a few champions in the game, not just the supports, but also supporting damage dealers, which can use a little bit of accuracy. So we also have the Dragon's Lair. The Dragon's Lair here, again, speed set basically. Anything else has been replaced for the end game. You're just looking for speed. So you see already how bad the odds are to pick up on one piece of gear that you need, the speed set with the speed substat. How many runs do I need to do? I usually do like 60 runs to complete a tournament for Dragon, and I get 0 items, because even if I do multi-battles, guys, my filters here is basically epic and higher, which sometimes I remove the epic and I keep speed, toxic, and frost, which again, I don't even need. And after 60 runs, I notice that I have kept 1 or 2 items with the substat that I'm looking for to be basically speed or crit rate, or if it has just crit rate, I'm okay. But honestly, I should have removed this because I just want speed. And then on boots, I'm okay if it has speed on the top side. But you guys get the idea on how difficult it becomes to acquire gear in Raid in 2025 because of all of these decisions that you're making. You're evolving your account. You have to think of it that you're evolving your account and you're no longer satisfied by the bad pieces. So the market becomes all that more important to be checking it every now and then. Now, I'm not saying every hour or using gems to refresh, but you should check it because especially Savage Set, Stun, Regen, these three are so cool. Shield Set is useful for having a few of them to enable Seer, but that's pretty much it. Crit damage, now that you can farm it through the event dungeon, you can farm it there instead of here when that pops up. Regen is useful for a while. And then we have Stun and Savage, which Stun, again, once you have like 10 sets that you use, they don't even need to have good stats, like insane stats, just 10 sets to throw around for Faction Wars and PvE content where you need to push waves. Basically, the stun set becomes useless anymore, although there is the potential maybe a champion coming out and the meta becoming him using a stun set, such as the time we had Hegemon having a stun set and running stun set Hegemon, and some people were running stun set with damage stats for Hegemon, some of them stun set with supporting stats. So it all becomes basically revolves around the meta on what kind of gear you're running. Fury, Caring, Immunity, Frenzy have zero use. So already these dungeons seem kind of dead to me, and it becomes all that more important for things such as the Doom Tower and pushing Doom Tower and farming the important bosses for the Doom Tower in the order of, let's say, Dark Fae being number 1, and then depending on the gear that you need, you farm the remaining bosses. So for example, here I'm at level 40. Usually I don't care about these lower levels in terms of farming. It gives me such few stats that I just don't want to spend the time. But for this one, I actually farm the Frost Spider now because of how useful the Frost set is for the Cursed City and using that. But also Scarab King is pretty cool for the resistance. Nether Spider also for the affinity set. So these become a zero cost farming, potential to farm gear with zero cost. And it's the Doom Tower, a place we have since, wasn't this 2019 also, maybe 2020? I think Doom Tower was quite a while ago, but it was a huge update to Raid again. And this has basically introduced the zero cost on farming gear. Same thing with Cursed City. It's zero cost in the sense of, yeah, I can farm like all of these stages. The only cost I have is actually building the teams. And then after that, if I'm comfortable with beating each stage and if I boost my damage a little bit through the live arena bonuses and I can finish this, all right, your account now becomes so much stronger because you have now access to gear, merciless gear, and the other set, what's the name of the other set? I keep forgetting the name. But you have access to gear and accessories through that. And you just get the ability to farm gear without actually spending energy. And energy is used basically for fusions now. So Siege is also a huge part, again, of acquiring new gear. The Feral set, I'm not saying you'll be able to pick up on the mythical pieces like we have here, but the reality is that these pieces are free. Again, you're not spending any energy, you're using champions that are using, and if it happens to be the case that you manage to win, you pick up on some free gear. And then the victory chest also gives you accessories, again, which I mentioned before. These are free, and you upgrade your account for free. So it becomes the decision now to go back into the market when you see an item like the one I purchased earlier. It still becomes so much more valid because you don't want to be spending your energy just blindly farming, especially when there's no 15x, not 15x, 3x, sorry. Confused it with the shards. 3x on let's say speed drops or savage set drops, and it just becomes all that more interesting. So here, 1.6 million, this probably does not have speed, but let's have a look. It does have speed. It's a 6-star. This is again, looks like a good purchase. It's a 6-star epic, guys. It's, again, the stats are not that great. I'm not going to purchase this because for me, this is dead. Even a triple roll on speed is not good because I have triple rolls already plus glyphed. So I don't even know which champion I would give it to. It would be like a champion that I barely use. So this is basically a waste of 1.6. But for some players out there, this might have been a potentially good item to be triple rolling speed for. But it just shows on how possible it can be for you guys to pick up on some good items from the market if you are conservative with your silver, and being careful on what you're purchasing. So just don't purchase things blindly here just because you might see it, like see a 6-star piece. Have a look at the stats. Remind yourself on what kind of gear you have already on your account, what kind of sets you have. The new sets from the live arena, those are going to be pretty cool, but very difficult to acquire. The sets that you get from the bolster set, not the bolster set, the forge pass, such as the bolster set, all the sets that we can forge, although those have a price tag, you can still earn the ability to craft these from the free version of the forge pass, as long as you're doing your quests every day. So the Slayer, the Righteous, Defiant, Instinct, and Bolster, these 5 sets coming from the Forge Pass are pretty cool, and you get the ability to forge 200 of them if you purchase it. So with like a minor purchase, if you're a spender, you get 200 items, and then it's all RNG from there. But again, 200 items is huge for any account out there. So guys, this is raid of 2025. Gearing in raids of 2025 might seem crazy, but it has transitioned for the majority of veteran accounts. It transitioned to the point where you don't spend your energy anymore in dungeon farming. You spend it just for the fusions, and you basically make your decisions based on that to improve your account. And because all the gear that you're gonna get, the most important gear, let's say for just upgrading your damage dealers, is the lethal gear, plus you would do lethal plus stone skin. All right, or now merciless. Well, the 6-piece for merciless is more important, so not really merciless, but you would do 4-piece lethal, 4-piece stone skin, just to get these stats that you don't get from the savage set. And this is a totally free set to get, because this is coming from the Dark Fae boss, and there is, I would say, dozens of strategies to beat that boss nowadays. All right, it has become a solved dungeon. So depending on your account, you might need to think twice before just strictly ignoring it, but you may need to put some effort into building specific teams to beat each boss so that you can have it as farmable. So look at this. I farmed the Guardian. The Guardian set, it used to be such a good set, but now it has been replaced. But this is basically like a better version of Regen set, because it does give you 10% of healing instead of 15 like the Regen set does, but also it acts as a mini ally protection. So have a look, guys, again at the way that you gear your champions and how you look at farming gear. Think of where you are in the game. Am I an early game player? Then you need to just relax a little bit and enjoy the game. Don't think about the end game right now, because you're way off. Am I a mid game player? So have I beaten? Have I got my Lydia? Have I done my clan boss? Do I have Hydra teams? You're kind of in the mid game there. Later game is when you have access to everything, and then end game is when you farm everything on the highest difficulty with the easiest, with ease, basically. Okay, and you can do all the clan bosses and reach all the keys in the end, and actually do some solid damage for Hydra to help out your clan and pick on the best rewards also from the Hydra Clash. So that's it, guys, for today. Just giving you guys an overview of gearing in 2025. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe. I'll see you all in the next one. See ya.